What's going on, everybody? It's your boy C-Zar, and we are talking about Swiftcoin today. It is the 10th day of February, and here we are sitting at about $0.00372 with roughly 6 hours and 42 minutes left in the day. Hit that like button, subscribe. Thank you all for being here. It's the 10th day of February. Here we are sitting on the aftermath of this nice little pump we've had over the past few days, pumping up overall 63%, which is pretty good. 0.00466 being the high. It certainly does seem, at least to me, that you are in some type of bottoming formation. I mean, I don't know. Anything can happen, but I don't imagine that from here you're going to see a tremendous drop. I would imagine from here it's almost like you're going to come up and potentially see higher highs, or at the very least see some type of lower high here, maybe at like 0.057, 0.054. Maybe a little bit higher than that, but something in that area there. So from here, 0.00372, there's definitely a lot of growth to go between now and then. It does seem as though you're in this kind of choppy sideways, what I like to call an accumulative area. I feel like that would be appropriate here. But let's look at the short-term stuff, and then we'll zoom out from there. Okay. I know it's been some time since we talked about Swiftcoin. I'm sorry it's been so long. Swiftcoin's been very boring though, right? I mean, really, it's at the exact same price now that it has been really since November. Most cryptos, by the way, what's interesting about Swiftcoin is the November 21st low. Swiftcoin's actually above its November 21st low. I know it saw lower lows, but it's where it is now. It's actually outperforming most cryptos right now. If we look at the other chart, you see the November 21st low right here. I mean, the average coin is way, way down. And that's probably largely to the fact that, again, Swiftcoin's been selling off for quite some time. Most altcoins hadn't been selling off as long as Swiftcoin has. So there's just probably a lack of sellers. And there's more buying interest than selling interest down at these levels. And I think that this is more of an accumulative zone, right? You saw this kind of sideways stuff and it was a little bit tighter, but up here, right? And this is after a move up. Well, we're seeing that same stuff after the move down. I think we're going to see some type of reverberation back to the mean. And that likely will take us anywhere from, I mean, 0.0. Like, we really actually do stand a chance to run up to about a cent. But at least somewhere around 0.005457, something like that. Let's see. Let's see how I did. Maybe even higher. So if we stop at 0.054, 0.057, there's still a chance that we could go lower. We'd stop at the 236, find resistance there. It's a lower high, all the things. But if we can get above that point, if we can actually see a higher high, then I would say 0.0823 to 1.15 cents, somewhere in this area, would likely be the next destination. And it is possible, Swiftcoin, you could rally all the way up to the golden ratio, but that seems a bit far from here. I mean, it could happen. I don't think that it'd be like one swift movement like we've seen in the past. No pun intended. I don't think it'll be like that. It might take more time. So I suppose the next target area from here would be one of two things, right? Either 0.0553, or if it's not there, it's probably not going to be too much above. Like it would be that you find resistance here and then you move down. But if you get above this at all, if you're here at like 0.006, 0.063, whatever, you're likely not stopping until you're at 0.083 or even something around or above 1 cent, something like that. So I would expect, this is kind of what I would expect out of Swiftcoin here. At least something like this. Find resistance back at prior support zones here, back at prior resistance zones here. And it's the 382. Typically with the 382, you do wick just above it. You've been moving down, man. You've been seeing lower lows for a year, a straight year. That's a bear market, right? Like that's a full-blown bear market, time perspective-wise, price perspective-wise, dropping, all that stuff. I think you're due for a pump, truly, right? This isn't a half-piped, half-cocked thought. We're due for a pump. We've dropped so much. No, because yeah, you guys have been dropping since October. The average altcoin's been dropping since October. This thing's been dropping since January of 2025. Overdue, I think so. Weekly time frame. Double bullish divergence on the weekly RSI. I love to see it. Now, here's the thing. We got 5 days, 7 hours left in this week, and we're red. If we close this week here or lower, you kind of take out this low. I think I would still call that bullish divergence, but I would prefer it personally, and who cares what I think, but I would prefer it if we didn't take out this low. Nonetheless, if we do, let's try to stay out of the oversold zone. Let's bounce off the oversold zone. Let's maintain these higher lows, and let's get that double bullish divergence confirmed. That's nice to see. The MACD actually has some pretty nice bullish divergence as well. and we're at that point where we're green. This could be the moment where Swiftcoin, you guys, Swiftcoin really might see some type of eruptive move here. We had it with Onyx Coin. We kind of had it with Swiftcoin here, but I really think that you could see a move that just takes you again back up to like 1 cent or something even above there. I wouldn't be surprised at all. We look at the daily time frame here. You are finding resistance at the 50. Stochastics are getting tied up. You've gotten tied up at this area before. I'm not confident that we see lower lows. Oh, I mean, you could be finding support right here even. Let's see. Low to high. Interesting kind of, it seems very mechanical. Very, what's the word? Non-natural, non-organic. I would think we do pull down a little bit more, maybe down to 0034 to 0033, somewhere in that area. And then we should be moving up. But I do believe overall we will see higher prices than this. That's the idea. As far as Swiftcoin being in a bear market and does it see lower prices than what we've seen here, it's possible. It's very possible. I would still say that I would expect that we break out of this zone and that we do see a higher high relative to this, but maybe from there we consolidate and then just slowly over time we come back down. Maybe this is the finish to our bear market as a giant double bottom. Maybe we see lower prices with the rest of the market. I don't know. But you know, something like this happening and then taking a long time to pull back, this could take all year. This could really take all year. And I know that that's kind of disappointing. But again, the last video that I think I made on Swiftcoin, we were in a bull market. It's been a couple weeks since we've decided that we're in a bear market now. Or about a week, I should say. It feels like a couple weeks, but it's been about a week that we've been in a bear market now. So the perspective, the idea that Swiftcoin sees new all-time highs anytime soon, it's just out the window. I mean, we're probably, it could happen, but we're probably not going to see Swiftcoin at new all-time highs until sometime at the best late 2026, but most likely sometime in 2027 or even 2028. Okay. I've got nothing else to say. I've said everything that I need to say. Swiftcoin is in a better position, I think, than most cryptos right now. But we'll see. Time will tell. Hit that like button, subscribe, take care of yourselves. Again, bullish divergence, double bullish divergence on the weekly RSI, bullish divergence on the stochastics. We go to the 2-week time frame. No divergences there. What about the 3-day time frame? Double bottom. Not the same as divergence, but it's still pretty powerful. There's overall positive readings here that I shouldn't say that overall it's actually negative. Of course it is because it's been a year, but in this area there's a lot of suggestions that we're at a point where we're going to see some come up, and I would believe the come up is going to be bigger than any of the moves we've seen here. So we likely do. I would think we move up to that 1 cent area, at least 0087 or 85, whatever it was. Hit that like button. Thank you all. Take care. I'll see you on the next one. Bye bye.